Morning traders. This looks like a slow morning to me, but I cannot get over these futures being up like this. It's just mind blowing in my opinion. And basically 14% on the front month on the oil. That's what's helping support prices this morning, getting a massive squeeze on the front month on the oil futures. But the XLE is really not participating in the morning volumes. But pretty much that's what the story is. It's oil again this morning, driving the indices higher. Um, but just keep that in mind going forward here. One of the things that I also wanted to point out here, they had the flash PMI numbers come out of Europe. They had Germany and France, lowest reads ever on record. And like the services PMIs from France was like 11.5%. 50% is recession. It's the absolute worst read ever in history for these flash PMIs. Now these are survey PMIs, but given the survey and stuff, we're looking at it's projecting a 7.5% miss. We're going to have GDP out of Euro missed by 7.5% this year, and that's how bad these PMIs really are. So far this morning, the initial reaction is a little bit down, but they're not taking it to heart, the PMIs. But man, it just absolutely horrible numbers on the PMIs out of Europe that hit the tape this morning. So something to definitely keep on watch going forward here. We do have uh, the initial claims and continuing claims coming out here in a bit. So we have new home sale units. Uh, so that's something to keep on watch here. So basically, we have initial claims. Where's that initial claims at? Yeah, there it is, 8:30. Initial jobless claims 8:30. So um, I'm actually initial claims I'm actually expecting to come down, and then the continuing claims I expect to tick up. So something to definitely keep on watch going forward here. Um, so just some things to take away going into today's session. Some stuff that's hitting the tape. I'm going to go over here to earnings whisper real quick. Uh, I was busy yesterday afternoon. I really wanted near the close to take some Domino's pizza uh, calls into today's session. I think Domino's is just going to rock here. It comes out at 7:30 on Domino's Pizza, so we'll see what happens on that. And then later tonight, we got Intel, and they have been driving AMD and Nvidia back near 52-week highs coming into these numbers. So definitely something to keep on watch. This is really going to be a major tell and driving force for the markets going forward. And then on the flip side, um, the credit card companies across the board have just been downgraded. And mainly, you think about it, amusement parks are shut down. Travel and leisure is pretty well shut down. Most of the casinos are shut down and stuff like that. And so I don't know how much of the quarter the COVID virus is going to be priced into their earnings and stuff. But this is something I'm definitely keeping on watch. And if they do start selling these credit card companies off, that's probably negative for Amazon, in my opinion, since they get most of their sales from the credit card companies. So something that I'm keeping on watch going forward here. And then tomorrow you got American Express, which is going to back it up, and like Verizon and stuff. If I don't like to using options for Verizon or AT&T. If I were to do something like that with an options, I would want a spread option spread for something like that, like a put spread or a call spread for Verizon. I don't think it has a high enough implied volatility to take that naked, in my opinion. And so something to keep in mind if you're going forward and wanting to trade the Verizon for the earnings trade. I typically don't do earnings trades. I wait until after they report, but who knows? We'll see what happens here. Expectations are really bad, and so far the companies that are really bad expectations, they've been getting a little bit of a short squeeze on their earnings. So we'll see what happens. At least that's what they did with Della initially did with Delta yesterday, and then they sold it back off. So they could very easily do the same thing with these credit card companies. Some things I wanted to point out. Another thing here I wanted to point out, I had mentioned in my some guys in the chat room over the weekend, the residual values on used car sales had a record decrease of 11.8% um, from the 15 days ending the last 15 days of April. So it netted out a 9.6% decrease. This is the biggest decrease ever in history for used car prices in a month period. So something to definitely keep in mind here. This is problematic, and what really matter happens here, in my opinion, if you have specialized equipment like Caterpillar, like Deere farm equipment, or any type of industrial equipment, those are capex spending items. Companies are going to be, they're already doing away with their buybacks and stuff. This is going to be one of the first areas that really significantly gets hit. Hertz is another one. They are really going to slash their capex. Okay, so this is a leading indicator of what's going on beneath the hood in the industry, manufacturing industry. So something to definitely keep on watch going forward here. Seeing, knowing that, and also you see the ads on the TV on these cars are basically giving you 0% interest the entire length of the loan, 84-month loan, 0% interest. They're giving you 90 days, no payments, and they're just throwing everything out there they can to get you to sign for the current ticket value, because they see this. This is impacting their inventory. So basically, their inventory is worth a lot less than what they're advertising on the sticker. Okay, so keep that in mind if you're out there looking for a vehicle. The vehicles are not worth at all near what the sticker price is right now because of these depreciations. Now, this represents the used car vehicles, but it also has a major impact on the new car vehicles. So, here in a few months, what we're going to see with the inventory on these lots, they're going to have some major ticket markdowns on these vehicles. So, something to definitely keep in mind. We're just in the very opening stages of what's going on here in the auto industry. And this is a very significant um negative driving force for the economy whenever you see situations like this unfolding. Okay, so far this morning, some of the top leaders in the market. And basically, on the volume side, basically, we're getting a short, quick squeeze in oil. So we're getting a little bit of a bid, just a very nominal bid in BP. Then we had to come way down here to see Apache. Where did Apache go? I don't even see it now. APA. Apple. Oh, there it is. Okay, Apache came up. So a little bit of volume coming into Apache here now. But look at this. It's not even getting back to the closing price right now. It's not even marking the closing price. So that's not good for Apache. So, yeah, this is not good. So, what can I say? But basically, you see 14% increase in the front month oil, supposedly, but you don't see any participation in the XLE or XOP energy space at all. So something to definitely keep in watch what's going forward in today's options and stuff. And so basically, you have American Airlines got a little bit of a bid. I think we did have another airline that might have been the one that reported. I know Delta reported, and so we do have a little bit of bid in Delta this morning. I'll look at it real quick, and we'll go from there. But I generally don't trade those airlines myself. Okay, Boeing's got a little bit of bid this morning, so it's just a few things that I'm watching here. Very light volumes so far this morning, so keep that in mind going forward in your trading. Okay, and then I also look at the 24-hour trading that's up here, and basically look at this. We are at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're probably going to be over a million shares on USO into the open. I don't. The way it's looking right now, there's a good chance we're not even going to hit a million shares in SPY. Typically, most mornings we hit 1 million shares on the open. So we'll see what happens. It doesn't really start getting active till after 7 o'clock. So right here, it's showing signs that it's going to be a quite anemic open this morning. So basically, we're short squeezing to the upside on very light volume. So something to definitely keep on watch in today's session. And another thing here, I did notice yesterday, right here is my breath indicator. And as of yesterday, as I had mentioned to the guys in the room and stuff, big money was not buying in to the move higher. It was a short squeeze, a drive of just a few select stocks that helped drive the NASDAQ yesterday. And but big money was not accumulating on the breath side supporting price. So basically, as you can see here, we're not breaking out to new highs so far this morning. And I think that is one of the reasons. Okay. So we are ticking up on some lighter volume this morning. So just one of the tells, which I've noticed yesterday. And then Q's was leading the way because I do think the Intel numbers are coming out, and that was helping drive the volume on the select few, especially semiconductors. They were being driven by the Intel earnings coming up. But similar situation, big money was not accumulating into the tech as a general rule. They were taking money out of some areas and moving it back into others, like they were following the trend in the semiconductors and just going and supporting prices that way. Okay. And then our Russell down here, as you can see here, by far and large, they were trying to sell the pop in the Russell as of yesterday, despite the fact we had a few stocks uh, driving prices higher. Okay. So as you can see, yesterday prices went a little bit higher on the Russell, Uvol, Devol. It was just a few select stocks that were driving prices higher, but our breadth was negative. So this was a bearish tail coming into today's session for the Russell. Okay. Is this one down here? Yep. Okay. Okay. One thing I look at in the mornings, and this is my if I can get it to load. Give me 1 second here. Now it won't load. Watch it. One thing I do look at early in the mornings and stuff, and uh, I see the early morning volumes, and I want to see since I'm a short dated trader, and I typically do not. I'm an income trader, and I try not to take overnight positions more than I have to. Uh, One thing I do look for my short dated trades, I want the implied volatilities above the historic volatilities. So, like yesterday, I took Tesla and I took Alibaba, and those are still the top, five, six, yeah, in the top six. Both of those were in the top six trades for yesterday. I actually took Netflix too, so I had three trades on yesterday. Uh, Two of my I took a slight loss on, but my point is I try to stick with the stocks that have uh, uh, jacked implied volatility going into the trading session for short dated trades. So some little things that I did notice a stand out this morning. That's the short dated VIX uh, was up here at the top of the thing. So that is an alert to me that there's a lot of participation in this today, suggesting we might actually get a bigger move than what we've been seeing the past few days. So something to definitely that was a standout for me this morning. So I definitely wanted to keep this on watch going into today's session. And but also we do have uh, into next week we have um, excuse me into next week we have ExxonMobil and CVX reporting earnings. So as you can see right here, we do have a little bit of a jacked implied volatility in our ExxonMobil this morning, and we are getting a little bit bid with that recovery in the front dated crude oil. So that's another one that I am keeping on watch going forward here. I just didn't like that participation in that I'm seeing on my last scan. So that's one of the things that I'm doing. But basically, this gives you basically 10 stocks that you look at, 10, yeah, 12 stocks. Yeah, you look at early in the morning, and that gives you a pretty good idea which ones are active early mornings and you want to be focusing on in your trading session. Okay. So I do have a slight bearish bias going into the open today. Rightfully or not, it concerns me seeing AMD. Um, you know, here was the earnings was down here back whenever the economy was just firing on all cylinders back in January. And here we are at a price point even higher in the midst of one of the greatest crises our planet has ever faced. So this really bothers me going into Friday, going into the Intel's numbers. So this is something that I'm watching going forward here. Nvidia is another major gainer Friday. Um, I think a lot of NVIDIA chips go into Tesla. So also keep this in mind. We were getting a bearish divergence in Tesla yesterday, rightfully so. Considering the residual values are just absolutely getting destroyed in the automobile industry, at some point it's going to have a dramatically negative impact on Tesla. So keep that in mind. I was actually on the short side yesterday. So similar situation here. We were at the a lower price point on Nvidia back in February. Here we are in the middle of one of the greatest crises known to the planet, and we are on a monthly. Right up here is a monthly. This is where you would typically look to short Nvidia going into earnings. So something definitely to keep in mind. And I'm just that's not really those aren't earnings plays, but here's my Intel trade. See, that's what they're doing here. They're jacking the markets, thinking Intel is already at a lower price point going into these numbers versus Nvidia and AMD. So that's what gets me here. We're going into those numbers at a slightly lower price point. Um, so that's the big rub right here. They're thinking the Intel's going to squeeze to the upside on these numbers here. So I'm not a big believer in that myself. I mean, just look back 2 quarters ago, Intel was back here at the 5150. So basically, Intel's basically right now pricing almost halfway between these two periods right here. So definitely something to keep in watch. And if IBM is any type of gauge for Intel, you're gonna have to. There could be some major issues. Intel numbers were really not that bad and stuff, but the markets did not initially like the reaction to the numbers. So definitely something to be aware of. We've already brought it all back the past couple of days, but the initial reaction was not very favorable for IBM and doing away with their guidance, doing away with their buybacks. You know, all these things are going to factor in going forward in this quarter. Okay, that's all I got to say. Like the video if you like it, and please leave comments below and stuff. And I will be in the chat room. So thanks a lot for listening to my videos, and please share it on Twitter if you get a chance. Just my handle's Gumby9662C if you don't follow me on Twitter. So please just follow me and help share it and get the word out there. Thanks a lot.